good little hand scratch on camera. Isn't that amazing? Oh, little buddy. She's all alone and she's so happy. Oh my goodness. Monkey Butt is so happy. She's the happiest I've seen her in so long. Look how happy she is. Hey everyone, welcome to a little Houston After Dark, late night, little Houston have a problem, late night, things getting real messed up. APE, you're gonna sell 450 million APE. When? We don't quite know. Adam Aaron filed the 8K today, and they reserve the right over the next 90 days to sell some, and they'll probably file again at the end of 90 days. Now, this is what comes down to. Is he going to sell before December, or is he going to sell after December? If he sells before then, we're screwed. I'll tell you right now. He'll screw over retail investors, but he'll make the company have a slightly better solid footing. But at the current prices, the 450 million might get him, if he's lucky, 1.5 billion in cash, which is not enough to pay off the debts they need to pay off. If they wait until the price is $10, $12 a share, then that's where they'll be able to pay off everything. So, wait, Adam Aaron. Do not jump the gun, man. We all know you're going to, because you're that dude. You're playing golf, you're going shapak, and then you talk with your buddies, and they're like, "Hey, Adam Aaron, would be a great idea. Sell us like 450 million of those APE shares, crash the price, cover ourselves. We're golden." You can go, okay. So that's what we're waiting on. And while we wait, one of these. We are off. Cool. Yeah, so outside of that, interest rates on 30-year mortgages hitting 7%. Foreclosures going like crazy in Canada. If you bought a house in December 2021 for $600,000, you are paying the same monthly mortgage costs payment as somebody who's buying a house now for like $300,000. So that's how much of a difference that mortgage rate is making, which means anybody who has a $600,000 house right now cannot sell their house. You can't sell it. You are underwater pretty much right now on your mortgage. Welcome to the next probably 2-3 years. So sit on what you got or walk away with a short sale. But you're likely, if you bought a house, you're probably paying for a house that's worth less than what you paid for it. Hopefully not less than what's left on your mortgage. Dude, that would suck. Okay. What else did I talk about today? Is there anything else to talk about? I don't know. It'll come up. You guys will throw it in my face and we'll yak about that. Okay. Joshua GME plop. Guitar Stuff 202. Good evening. Trey tapped out today. How do you keep the faith? Trey is rich, so he's got that going for him. If I had millions of dollars, I don't know if I'd be doing this. I'd probably be like, peace. It does really cushion the blow, doesn't it? When you can be like, well, I've got several $1 million and 1 million subscribers, and every single time I pop on the video, I make $100,000. So that stuff is pretty easy peasy to walk away from when you're like, all right, I'm done. Which, can't blame them. Like, you have the option to go sit on a beach or make YouTube videos several times a week. I might pick the sitting on the beach part. So, yeah. To each their own, I guess. BOFH rests in peace. AMC GME is going to tank until OPEX October 21st. Oh, we might get a pop from GME from XRP's on threshold list, and it's currently shorted to 481% or something. So threshold would come due not next week, week after. So that'd be the week of, what will calendar say right here? Calendar, tell me, what's that week? Not the 3rd, but the 10th. So the week of the 10th, I think, is when thresholds T plus 13 will come due for XRT. So I might get a little pop before then, which is good leading up into the monthlies on the 21st. Get a big old oomph out of that. And that'd be a 4-day week, isn't it? Because it's Indigenous Peoples Day / Columbus Day, depending on where you live. So those 4-day weeks, things go weird in those 4-day weeks. I'm here for it. Okay, what am I looking at? Looking over here. Lost Waves. Dear Houston. WTF, man. WTF indeed, Lost Waves. G-Font. The DXY is at 113 at 20-year high. It might climb to 120. DXY. Dollar index. Where are we at today? We were at like 114 or something. 115. And the pound is just crashing really hard. The pound is like $1.03 at one point last night. We're at 113.67 for the dollar index. So that's crazy high. That is also, like, while we might benefit with cheap everything around the world as a result of having a strong dollar, everyone else has to pay for a lot of services with a dollar because people don't want that funny money. They're not going to take other currencies for their oil and gas. They're going to say, no, give us dollars because dollars are things that are worth something now. And people won't be able to come up with their local currency to get enough dollars to buy the oil and gas they need and whatever other utilities and goods and services. So it may stall a lot of things, not having a couple of other stronger currencies ride or die with us. You'll notice Australian central bank ran out of money. The Swiss central bank's about to run out of money. Other countries, because they aren't a global currency, don't have the privilege of printing cash and then not caring. Like we can print cash and export more dollars. Who gives a rip? It'll hurt everyone else, but we don't care. Australia can't just print a bunch of dollars and then send Australian dollars all over the place because no one cares. The Swiss can't do that with francs either because no one cares. So they can't print their way out of it like we can print our way out of things. And the drop in gold right now makes me think that Russia is selling gold like crazy to help pay for their mobilization. So they're dumping their gold reserves, and that's bringing the price down. So it's a great time probably to invest in gold. You got the, I would love for MOAS to happen, and then I can invest in gold because I don't have anything to invest in gold with until then. Man, this whole next 2 months are going to be just so wild. Okay, BOFH. So here's a thing about the market crash thesis that puts a minor damper on things. Sure, the market crash will reduce their collateral and their long assets on margin, but a crash also reduces the liabilities when the stocks they are short on drop. The real trick is figuring out when their long positions have tanked enough to fully outweigh the gains from their short positions gaining value. And at that point, we start waiting for margin calls to fail and liquidations to happen. Yes. We're hoping we've got an inverse going. That when the Dow shrinks and bond values shrink, that our meme stocks either grow or hold strong. That's what we're hoping for. And that they've got negative beta on them in this situation. So we're working for it. We're holding pretty strong. Right now, the equivalent price of GameStop is still hovering around, I think pre-split, it's at the $100 level, which, would have been low for all of last year, but it's still $100 versus the $2.57 it was when it had bottomed out. So that's still $97.43 over what the peak short was. And that's pretty darn good, which is why anytime GameStop is over $16, the shorts are losing money on it. So, can they get to $16? I don't think so. If they can, it won't last very long, because that's right in the wheelhouse. People are like, you know what? I can now buy another 100 shares, and they will. Anna Runick, Lashana Tova, Houston. I was offline all day and came back on to much drama. AMC selling APE shares, Trey quitting, Big Dog gone. What the fuck? Please tell me, how does it rain? It rains because the sun comes out, warms the air. Warm air rises, where it cools, condenses, forms clouds, and rains. And Cuba is getting rained on real hard right now, and Tampa Bay is about to get rained on super hard in just a little bit. What's the National Hurricane Center track looking like? .NOAA.gov. Oh, I'm on caps lock for some reason. Let's see. Where are you, Chrome? There you are. Bam. Bam. National Hurricane Center. That's what we want. All right. What are you doing, Ian? Hurricane Ian. Give me that wonderful hurricane track right there. What do you got? There we go. So major hurricane as it slams into the coast. 8 a.m. Wednesday? Okay. So tomorrow we're doing our charity show for Puerto Rico, because they got slammed by Fiona. And then Fiona hit Bermuda, and then Fiona slammed into Nova Scotia and Labrador. We'll probably be doing one for Tampa Bay after this. Yeah, it is really, really warm water right now. And it's temperatures in the some 90s, upper 90s, all around the Gulf Coast right now. It's really warm air, lots of energy going into there. So there's gonna be lots of rain. Oh, hey, little buddy, coming to visit now that the big dog's gone? Want to say hi to everybody? Kitty, kitty. Where'd you go? Come here. Cat. I'm talking about storms here. Come here. Quit dilly-dallying. Come here, you little fart. There you go. Yeah. Big dog's gone. Wants to hang out. That's what we need. We need a cat who wants to hang out. How do I get back to... There we go. There we go. There's a little kitty. Chalupa Batman coming to visit. He's like so happy the big dog's gone. He's been out and about and like snuggling with everyone. Just having a great time. Oh, he likes to chew on me really hard when I scratch his butt. He's like compulsive, must chew on... it's my leg. You know. Okay. So we got Chalupa Batman in the house. With his tail doing the whole like snorkel periscope thing. Oh, and I forgot we got Alfie. We have Alfie up here, Deck Peas Pooch, who passed away this year. Sweet best friend. So Alfie's up on our cabinet board today, and he's going to be hanging out with us all day. So everybody, give some well wishes to Deck P, who lost his buddy. He looks like a good, happy dog right there. Don't you drink from my water, cat. I will throw you across this room like a football. You'll spiral and everything. Okay. Yeah, you're welcome. Yep, just cover up the screen so I can not read anything I need to read there, buddy. Good job. Good job. Okay, at least I got this. Nope, now you're covering that one. Get out of the way, dude. Out of the way. There you go. Bend down. Lick yourself. Okay. Chocosec Houston. What's the deal with APE? Did Adam Aaron just dilute the stock further? Not necessarily, but he can. And that's what we need to watch out for. Is, they reserve the right to sell this many shares. They may or may not do it. They don't have to do it. They can sit there and not sell any of them. But if we get word that they dumped a whole bunch into the market in the next 2 months, I'm out. There's no squeeze play happening with APE or AMC at that point. He needs to wait. And if you're watching this, Adam Aaron, which I know you are holding hands with Ryan Cohen, you guys are watching this together right now. Don't sell until like after the new year, just to be on the safe side. Just don't do it. Just wait. Just hold your horses. You got cash. It'll last. People can go watch movies. You'll be fine. You're fine. Just wait. Just wait. You'll appreciate it more. You'll raise more money, and your retail investors will be happy. But my kitty. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see where he goes from there. Yep. Ow! Don't bite me. You're just a little chomper. You're a little chomper. You're so excited. You just chomp on everything. And no one can see that you are like right underneath the camera. No one can see. Oh. Oh, the monkey butt cam froze. Son of a bitch. The monkey butt cam froze. So that's not even working. I tried to turn it to the cat, but it's not. Gosh dang it, man. What is with this crap? Anyway, here. There's Chupa Batman. He is. He's hanging out. He's a good guy. Okay. There we are. Alfie's back. Where was I? Chakuseki. Sad Boy Incorporated. Regarding options for no labs, the prospectus and 8K filing said the option chain becomes active 45 days after the effective date, but I'm too tired to find out when that is. Also, hope your day is good. The effective date was 2 Fridays ago? Yeah. The 13th, whatever that was. I think that was maybe the effective date when they got listed. So 45 days after that, which would be end of October? About there? Beginning of November? That's when you start to see the options chain, perhaps. Paratarian Adam Aaron was never someone to be trusted. The Apollo DD done on Superstonk absolutely obliterated any credibility he had with apes. AMC, in my mind, remains swap corn. I see no squeeze play with this dilution. Yes, if they sell, the squeeze play is done. They'll pay off some of their debt, but if he just waited like 3 months to sell, wait for the ape to go absolutely bonkers, he would pay off all their debt and have some cash left over. That's all you have to do is just wait. Just wait, dude. Just wait. How hard is it to wait? Just wait. We've been waiting this whole time. It's not hard at all. Just do that. Just wait. Just wait, man. Just wait. Sorry. It's just... Is that... There we go. Okay. Chakuseki, thoughts on a phone call from the White House being traced to a 1-6 rioter during the actual riot? Not good. I'm sure that they will subpoena the person that called, some young dude. He was like a Proud Boy or something. And they will trace it back to him. They'll get him subpoenaed. They'll put him under oath. They'll have to admit who called him. They'll look at the phone records. They'll get from where the switchboard it came from. Are you trying to fight me? What are you trying to do? Are you trying to fight me right now? Yeah, you're just so happy. You're just so happy you can, you have free reign of the house again. 6 months of being trapped and having to, tiptoe around everywhere, glide from shadowed corner to shadowed corner, and now you're just, out and about being a happy cat. Oh, yes, you're so happy. Okay. All right, what we got? Hey, not your friend. Aloha from Wahoo. What's up with Ape? Well, that's what I was asking, so... Asking him, what's up with Ape? Squeeze play dead. Sadboy Corporate Houston, if you were going to move out of Texas as a 22-year-old, where would you move and to where would you work? I'm thinking Kansas City for barbecue, low-cost real estate, generic poor white people. I mean, if Kansas City seems like an upgrade to Texas for you, by all means. I will never voluntarily live somewhere that isn't either next to an ocean or in the mountains. So, to me, Kansas City sounds like a prison that I would not be happy to live there. Winters suck. Summers are hot. Tornadoes. I don't know, move to the beach in San Diego or something. Go to a mountain town in Montana where you go skiing all the time. I don't know. But if you're looking for cost of living things, don't step on the keyboard, cat. You were just replacing Snoopy. Nope, don't step on the keyboard. Push the keyboard under the desk so that way you can't step on it. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's some Midwesterners here that are like, what, you're shitting on the Midwest? But yeah, I'm shitting on the Midwest. I visited. It's fine. I have a family that live in, Missouri, St. Louis area. By all means, have at it. But most of them are desperately trying to move out here because they want mountains and ocean. So, there you go. Yeah, I know you're so upset now that to put the keyboard away. He's just like, ugh. I should get like a cat tower right here so the cat can sit next to my head. Oh, maybe that's what we should do. We get you a little cat tower. You can hang out. People can watch you during the show also. Yeah, and then wonder why the stupid camera doesn't work anymore for the monkey butt cam. Oops, wrong one. Where's the other one? That one. Nope, still doesn't work. All right. Okay, where were we? B-Ball 3710, soon to be a family of 5, looking to upgrade SUV in 9 months. Can I take advantage of repo market myself, or can I expect to see nice deals on dealership lots the next few months? You will probably see all sorts of deals on various dealership lots. You will also probably see people trying to sell their cars without the title because they're facing repo. It's a great parts car, no title, have at it. It's a 2021 Dodge Durango or whatever. But yeah, the prices are going to come crashing down because people aren't going to have cash. They're not going to get approved for loans. The loans that do get approved for are going to have insane interest rates. The self-financing, you'll probably see like GMAC and Ford Financial and those things start to come out with their like 0% APR for pretty much anybody. And that's what we might be looking at coming up. Not too different. Why is the stream current bitrate is absolutely garbage? Awesome. Bet you anything, someone is downloading video games, and that's why I look like I'm max headroom coming out of the... Oh my gosh. Just be like, hey bud. Loading stuff. Oh, please wait. Internet is garbage. Okay, there we go. Let's see if that hopefully get some video back here. Got the cat climbing on keyboards, got the internet just shit in the bed. Classic, it's a classic internet show, man. It's where we are. Okay, that's right. Just climb inside the headphones. There you go. Make that into your bed. That's perfect. Okay. BOFH, at least Kansas City has abortion for now, but that's all it's going for them. Oh, kitty, get it. If you break those headphones, they cost more than you. That's true. Okay. Parataran, The Expanse is one hell of a show. Seems like a relatively accurate depiction of what would happen. Season 1 was great. Season 2 seems to be great as well. It gets completely out there, but it's kind of fun to watch. But the world building of what the future will be like when we colonize space, if we don't colonize space with any of this in mind, is probably very accurate as to how it will play out. We will have people that never set foot on Earth, that don't know what Earth is like, that can't understand why Earth is using them and their labor to make themselves rich. It's probably one of the most accurate looks in the future you could have for space. Okay. All right. But internet's just terrible. Roommate says he's not downloading anything, so guess we're just stuck with Comcast. Homer's Ghost. Beans. Science me. I had beans for breakfast at the weekend. It was glorious. beans for breakfast are never glorious. They're science me. They're not. You need to learn that there's just things called breakfast pastries, and they just slap the shit out of beans any day of the week. Grape Houston, breakfast sausage or bacon, waffles or pancakes? How do you like your eggs? Also, I'm getting worried about AMC. Should I hold or sell for GME? I'll take sausage over bacon. Namely because, like, if I know it's a good bacon, I'll take the bacon. But most places have garbage bacon. If you happen to get Montana bacon, that is the best bacon. But generally, breakfast sausage is going to just be better than most cheap, thin-cut bacon you get places. Waffles or pancakes, depends on what's available. If you can get chocolate chip pancakes, I'll take those. If I can get chocolate chip waffles, I'll take those. My favorite breakfast place here, used to be my favorite breakfast place. I'd go there like 4 days a week and get Belgian chocolate chip waffles with strawberries and whipped cream like 4 days a week. I spent $500 a month on Belgian chocolate chip waffles at this place. The owner had to get double lung transplant, so she had to sell the business. These dudes bought it. They told me I couldn't get chocolate chip waffles anymore because it was bad for the waffle iron. And then all of a sudden they're like, we don't make any money here. And, well, dude, I kept you afloat with chocolate chip waffle orders. Yeah, I like Belgian waffles. How do I like my eggs? If I'm going out to eat, I will get them over medium for sure, because that guarantees they aren't just some weird slurry from a carton that they pour onto the griddle. I get fresh eggs that way. I also kind of like when it's over medium, like the runny yolk and like the little crispy ends of the whites. But I also like omelets. I like a ham and cheese omelet a lot. Just simple, a little salty, a little cheesy, good to go. How do you like your eggs? Sounds like a great chat line. Pleased to meet you. How do you like your eggs? Meow meow. I got nothing. Just trying to jumpstart the super chats. Well, thank you, meow meow. That's very kind of you. Kaz currently licking himself while leaning against the computer monitor, so it's just the whole screen is just doing this at the moment. Kitty, here. Let me move this out of the way. Let me move that. Get your legs out. Get your legs out. We'll put these over yonder. And you can have that whole spot to lay down on and not hopefully break the headset. Raider Bow, anyone name one logical reason to hold AMC at this point, and it can't be synthetics or market manipulation, which is only speculation according to Adam Aaron. Right now, it is a crapshoot. My hope was that 75% chance Adam Aaron would wait until the T+90 rocket ship went. That 25% nagging feeling that he has screwed everybody over in the past was like screaming at me like, you're an idiot. Don't trust him. And now it's shifting to 75% he's going to screw us over. 25% he's going to be a hero and wait. I don't have much hope for Adam Aaron doing the right thing. He'll talk as if he's doing the right thing, but I don't think he will. I think he'll screw every single solitary one of the retail holders over. Remember, retail owns the company. They're not controlled by any hedge fund or any big index fund or mutual fund or large activist investor. 85% of ownership is you. And if you're the boss, right? And if your employee, Adam Aaron, isn't doing what you want, just put him in a slingshot and fire him off into space. Just get rid of him. Done. Get him out. Fire him. You guys have the purse strings, so do it. Just in my head. How will Giorgia Meloni bring elected effect global unity against Russian and Chinese aggression? She won't. She's partnering with Berlusconi, who is pro-Putin. They're forming a coalition. She's a Nazi. Straight up, 100% joined the fascist party. And when she was like 14, and has been a member of the Italian Nazi fascist party ever since. She will pretend as though she represents everybody, but she represents fascism, and that's what she wants. She wants a return to Mussolini, and those autocrats, they stick together. And you got your Viktor Orbáns, your Marine Le Pens, your Vladimir Putins. So now we've got 3 suspect members of NATO in Viktor Orbán, Maloney, and Erdogan in Turkey, who all have access to NATO, top secret NATO stuff, and they could very well pass things on to their buddy Putin. So, yeah. It's bad. Bad news. I thought it was bad when the 5-star guys took over in Italy, but she's even worse. How come Italy has so many freaking fascist parties? I don't get it. Like, there's too many fascist parties over there. Berlusconi is such a dirtbag pedophile, too. I mean, the dude literally got busted on camera paying underage girls for sex, got convicted for it, and then somehow the Italian courts were like, he gave us lots of money, so we overturned the conviction. Ah, ha, ha. And now he walks free again. Dude should be in prison. And he's like 300 years old. How old is Berlusconi now? Berlusconi. Silvio, he was like 1,000 years old 20 years ago. Tell me, how old are you? No, don't tell me when you held office. Tell me when you were born, dude. Family background. How did he edit out his own birth date? There we go. He's 85. Berlusconi's 85. He is just hair plugs and dye at this point. That's all that's holding them together. So, man, all right. Look at this guy. Look at this freaking autocrat jerkbag. Where are we? Dallas B. Houston, you were smart. Tough and cool. Tough. Thanks for all you do. Sincerely, keep up the work. Also, rest in peace, Lefty Ready. First note is first note without Snoopy. No one will open a door in this house and have someone come screaming and yelling that they exist. It's going to be magical. I went on a drive today with Monkey, and I found myself like a little PTSD. Like every time we went past someone walking a dog down the street, I was like, oh my God, it's coming. And then no screaming and yelling from the back of the car. So that's great. How relaxing was that? It was such a relaxing drive. Monkey would just like look at the dog and her tail would wag, and that was it. It was a thing of beauty. Snoopy, I hope you're happy, but we are very content in this house to be Snoopy free right now. Jimmy D, he's the way I'm calling you through the ether. So I noticed that that Rachel Dolezal chick, the one that I think she's working for like the NAACP or something, and she's pretending to be black when she wasn't, and she now has an OnlyFans, and the description in the news is like former university lecturer now has OnlyFans account, and I was like, that's what Jimmy D's hoping for. Another university lecturer turning to OnlyFans. Daniel Lofstrom, Adam Aaron selling APE doesn't pay off the debt. Is there any possibility that all AMC wants the option to sell during MOAS? That is what we're hoping for. But I don't know if they'll wait. We can hope they will, but I don't know if they'll wait. Yeah. Drew, I'm scared of what happens in the U.S. post-stock market crash. I think crime will be insane everywhere. Yeah. I mean, when people are desperate, crime goes up. That's for sure. And we've got lots of guns. And like half the population has no education or conscience. So yeah, that's something, you know, gotta live on an island, man. That's what helps. Live on an island full of rich people. Crime, not so high. It's hard for me to get on the island, hard for me to get off the island. '88 Red Mustang GT. What's up, Houston? You look so different from that video everyone uses of you talking about GME. Houston buff Wade. I'm not. I took like 3 weeks off from the gym and actually lost 10 pounds. I'm back at it again, so we're gonna build back up again. But it'll take a couple weeks to put those 10 pounds back on. But like I said, if I don't do it, it just disappears. And I was like I did that video with the gist, April of last year. I was like 225. I was a little portly. I was like COVID depression. Right now I'm about 203. So I'm 20 pounds lighter than I was in that video. I'm in much better shape. I did spend a lot of time just throwing giant logs today because a huge tree went down in my yard again. I'm sick of these trees. Just no weather, just shabam, huge tree down. Like, what the hell? Now to go out there, cut it up, throw in the bushes. It's a pain in the ass. Keith, my brother is underwater almost $250,000. Oh man, it's so brutal. I think I told you guys about my friend. She bought a house. Would have been like winter 06. For as in West Seattle for like $400,000, and by winter 2008, that home was worth like $125,000. So she was $300,000 underwater basically on that house, and she just stopped paying. She's like, "Yeah, I'm done." She went off to medical school to go become an anesthetist or an anesthesiologist or one of those, and took my other friends, put them in as renters. They didn't pay rent. She didn't pay a mortgage. They were there for like 4 years. They saved up enough money to buy their own house at the absolute bottom of the market in like 2011, 2012, somewhere in there. And then she put her sister in that house for like another year and a half before the bank ever came to do anything. So 5, 6 years. They went no mortgage being paid in that house, and people were living there. I think the bank figured as long as someone was like mowing the yard and doing maintenance, they didn't want to bother. And they finally foreclosed the house when real estate prices started going up. But by then, everybody was all happy because by the time like they foreclosed and did all that stuff, she was done with medical school, finishing her internships, and the record on her credit report was basically gone like a few months later. So, done. Not too shabby. This space for rent, $50. $50, get yourself whatever you want up on the board. And just as long as it's not something that can be kicked off YouTube. So, like, no boobies or hoo-ha or whatever up there. Please. Happy dogs, advertisement for your business, funny jokes, whatever you want. Right there where Alfie is. Alfie is watching over us today. And there you go, $50. We're going to have a little ad for a website called Go Ask Houston, I think, that a viewer is setting up for the people that if I didn't necessarily get your questions during the show, you can post them there. I can either jump in and answer them, or people can find clips from the past that answers the question or help folks out. Kind of like an alternative to Discord, which I just, every time I try a Discord, my brain is so overwhelmed that I can't. I just can't with Discord. There's just too much going on, man. It's too much. So hopefully this thing will work out. And tomorrow's our charity show, so don't forget that. Spencer's Inside Out Sweater. I wish I had enough money to not know how economics work regarding housing. Yeah. There's people like, oh, I just bought a house. I don't understand what the problem is. You just write a check and you get a house. That's done. AKO, or is it AK0? Houston, do you think the market will crash this year? If so, when is it a good time to buy a new house and or car? If you have cash, you're looking to buy a new house, probably starting this winter. I think it's definitely going to crash before the new year. I bet November. I'm giving my guess is around November 15th, somewhere in there. Everything's just going to fall off a cliff, and they're going to full on admit. I bet by then we might see someone like Credit Suisse go belly up. Maybe someone else. There's some weird edicts coming out of the Chinese Communist Party basically telling various financial institutions that they have to buy Chinese stocks and Chinese bonds to keep everything afloat, and if they don't, punishment. So there's going to be all sorts of actions. All these different economic systems and nations and central banks are going to be trying all sorts of weird things to keep this whole thing afloat. I don't think any of it's going to work. I think you have to kneecap pretty much everything in the market, put in a whole bunch of laws and rules that can limit the malfeasance that we've been seeing, and then rebuild from there. But we're going to see interest rates get higher and higher and higher. It's going to be like 1981 all over again. We might see 20% interest rates for mortgages happen, which is basically usury. No one's going to qualify for that. The only way you can afford that is if the house is pennies. And no one's going to be able to sell their homes for that. And every single bank is going to repossess these houses, try to sell them for something close to what the market price was in the last year, and discover that no one can make offers. So these homes are going to go empty. They're going to go in disrepair. They're not going to sell. They're finally going to end up at auction where they get sold for pennies because no one has cash, which is where you folks will benefit. If we get cash by then, we can go to these auctions and pick up the houses and have places to live and no longer have to pay rent, right? Or a mortgage. Just pay your property tax every year and be cool. But starting in the winter, probably start finding deals for cars. Houses, the bottom for the housing market might be a year or two out for the absolute bottom. But as more homes build up, as a glut of unsold or foreclosed houses, and most people who own the houses aren't going to be trying to sell because they know they're going to be selling it for less than they paid for it. And no one's going to be able to afford the mortgage on it. So what's going to be sold is going to be bank-owned, foreclosed on homes. And we'll start to see those start to peak probably really next spring or so. Amar Saleh, I want to rent a house, but should I wait for the house market to crash? Would that decrease the rents? Very possible, because oftentimes when the market collapses, a lot of young hip people go back to their parents and leave a lot of the rental market. A lot of people have more shared housing ways of living and leave a lot of like 1-2 bedroom units empty. And so the price on those come down. They came down a lot in Seattle in 2009. I mean, places that right now are renting for $5,000 a month, you could pick up for probably $1,000 a month in 2009. So my guess is, yeah, it'll come down quite a bit. Daphne, I sold at the right time at the peak before this mess. Good job, Daphne. Someone had to do it. Dana, British pound, Indian rupee, bond crash, wind moon, and the yen, and the Japanese bonds, and the holy smokes, everything else is just falling so much. And I'm just noticing there's a whole bunch of Snoopy hair behind me that I haven't had a chance to vacuum yet. I mean, look at that stuff. Oh my goodness, there's so much back there. The dog produces so much hair. It's insane. Ligma Balls, he's going to give non-financial advice in a Discord that charges probably, to me, Discord is so annoying to be on that you could not pay me enough to spend my day on Discord. I don't know what type of brain rot happens to people's filing systems when they sift through that completely just spaghetti-sized organization of their graphic user interface. It is just, I look at it and I'm like, no, I'm gone. I'm done. Okay, Danjo the Banjo, what's going on in China? They put Xi in a timeout. I'm very curious as well, because all these like Taiwanese news agencies were saying Xi's been under house arrest, and the military's clamping down. And you see people who are like in Beijing and like things are totally normal in Beijing right now. But what you don't see is Xi anywhere. You don't get any, like, if there's a bunch of rumors that the head of the Communist Party in China is under arrest and in his house and locked up and he's not allowed to go anywhere, and there's been a military coup, wouldn't you want, like, the head of China to go, I'm not under arrest or under a military coup? Like, that hasn't happened yet. Or happened at all. But he is not. So it's been like 4 days of these rumors and nothing out of the Chinese government to like quell the rumors and be like, that's not what's happening at all. That part is weird. Very weird indeed. Got Paul on 2-year Treasury and 10-year Treasury super inversion. Yeah, they're spread by like a full point now, aren't they? A full percentage point, I mean. Not basis point, but like a full percentage, 100 basis points. How are we? Jimmy D, Houston Wade. How are you not on Crash Course Rocks and Stocks? How am I not on Crash Course Rocks? I mean, that's what we're doing right now? I mean, ask your questions, man. We'll throw them out there. We'll do rocks and stocks all day long. Yeah. DVS, we can't have printed our way out of domestic problems, though, Houston Wade in Australia. I think the problem is that it's not a domestic problem in Australia at the moment. It is a global one. That if you have to go get all of your oil and gas with US dollars and you got to trade those Australian dollars to US dollars, I think that's where the issues start to come in. That's the problem with the US dollar being like the global currency for everyone else, is that 85% of these important commodities trades are done using dollars or US dollars, and that makes it difficult for anybody who has a currency that's currently being weakened. So, yeah. Chad Clifford Houston, you're breathing much better without Big Dog's hair, but your watery eyes say you miss him. Maybe a camo in upcoming stream. We all heart Snoopy and the moist keyboard. Not for a while. We're gonna go Snoopy free for a nice long stretch. Who knows? Maybe he'll make an appearance. Maybe my sister will get called up again. I hope not. But I think if she gets called up again, it will be like, you're going to be doing 3 years somewhere, move your entire family and your dog. Not like 6 months in Dallas while it's 110 degrees outside. Jimmy D, the Thai baht, Korean won, Filipino peso, along with Chinese yuan, are all making a run for the yen and dollar. Very concerning. Yep. Citizen 54, why is the British pound so important? Everyone seems to be freaking out. Well, the pound has always been a traditionally strong currency. There are times when it's been like $2 US to the British pound. During the war, I think it was $5 to 1 British pound. Like the war, like World War II. It did have a freakish low in the 80s, so about 40 years ago. It got down to like $1.09 and then bounced back up from there, and now we're below that. And so the British pound being a strong currency was a big reason why London is so expensive to live, because a lot of nefarious people could create shell corporations and buy property in London, and it would basically be a hard currency hold for their wealth. So they could buy a $10 million townhouse or £10 million townhouse, and they basically have 10 million pounds they could at any time sell and have that money to use for whatever they wanted elsewhere, or borrow against, or whatever they needed to do. But if the value of the pound shrinks, then that home that was 10 million pounds, that 10 million pounds could be converted to 15 million US dollars, now can only be converted to 10 million US dollars. You may have lost 33% of the value of your hard currency purchase in that real estate by the pound growing weak. And the resale value now may be even lower than that. Maybe you bought that townhouse for 10 million pounds and you might be able to sell it for 5. And if that's the case, then what you'd hoped was worth 15 million US dollars is now worth like 5 or 6 million US dollars. You just lost about 50% of your value or more in that purchase. So that's why there's a lot of international players that play this like arbitrage scheme across the various currencies. And it's a big reason why you have a bunch of Saudi princes, Russian oligarchs, Colombian drug dealers, you name it, living in London. Daphne Houston, still think MOAS November? At least the crash in November. That's what I'm thinking. There's Deck P. Hey, buddy. There's Alfie for you. Glad you're in the chat and you can see it. Sorry, I had to be a late night show. I ended up having to chop up trees and then I had to recover for a few hours to build up the energy to do a late night show afterwards. In my mind, I was like, all right, I'm going to cut the tree down, do a show, go to the gym. And then I cut the tree down and I was like, that's it. That's all I can do today. Mark Sloan, any MOAS to happen soon, so I don't have to be homeless in November. Yeah, that's a terrible time to be homeless. So, let's MOAS. Let's get something to rock. One of these suckers needs to rock it. You know, we got LICN, hopefully IPOing on Friday. I opened a Webull account specifically to get some of those shares, and I think tomorrow they'll finally be allowed to. So I'm curious where that's going to go. Although the SEC and the DOJ say they're like focusing on these Chinese IPOs, but what are they going to do about it? They're in China. Okay. You got like 5 more lined up. They're all going to do the same thing that the others did because they all want that sweet, sweet scratch, which is IPO but never send the shares so that a whole bunch of naked shares get traded and promised everywhere. And then you have InstaSqueeze. InstaSqueeze is the new squeeze, man. Why wait? And you can just do it in your IPO day and go from $15 to $2,400 in 3 hours. That's some crazy stuff. Amigo went from 4 to 240. We'll see what LICN does on Friday, if they're allowed to IPO on Friday. They've been postponed like 4 times already. Not my name. You've seen mortgage-backed securities lower than '08. And they're going to get lower too because the federal government still hasn't started selling theirs yet. They stopped buying them, but they haven't sold the $2.5 trillion in mortgage-backed securities they have. They did do an emergency bond buy today to help bolster the bond market, but at this point, the Federal Reserve is just going to be like the largest holder of securities in the entire world and won't be able to do it. All they'll be able to do is gobble up more. They're never going to be allowed to sell any of it because the market's going to crash even harder if they do. And it's going to be weird. Like, they should have been selling their securities for like the last year, but instead they kept buying more, and now it's too late to sell because the market's going to crash anyway, and all those securities they bought are going to halve in value. Eric D. Houston, why do clouds look dark when it's about to rain? That has to do with the opacity. So clouds are translucent but not transparent. You can't see through a cloud, but light can make its way through a cloud, and it's diffused light. But the more water vapor you have condensing, the more refraction you get through the particles in that cloud, and it makes it thicker and thicker and thicker. So it's harder for the light to make it from the top of the cloud to the bottom of the cloud. And a cloud like that has a much higher water content, and that condensed water wants to fall out of the sky more. Basically, it's heavier. So clouds are really weird to think about because you got this thing that's like floating along above you, right? Like, look at that light, fluffy cloud. But you have to remember that light, fluffy cloud, like if it would just took all the water in that cloud, it could fill up swimming pools. It could fill up entire bays. Like, you have storms that drop several inches of rain in an hour, right? That cloud is where all that rain came from. So you have literally like millions or billions of pounds of water just lightly fluffy floating above your head in a quasi-vapor condensate form. It's weird. Condensate form. It's very weird to think about. Like millions of pounds of water just sitting up there, floating by, because some warm air just happens to keep it upright. And anytime, like, a lot of times it tries to rain and it will evaporate again, and it'll just rise back up again and form back into the clouds. So you get these like veils. Sometimes when you're out like in the Midwest or whatever, you'll see like these veils come down, but it won't actually rain because it evaporates because it's too warm, and it just goes right back up again. Nice Rubik's Cube stream. I know, man. Stupid internet. It's just the internet's the worst. Oh, you suck, Comcast. Spencer's Inside Out sweater was Big Dog confused when we went back. He was really excited. He's like, oh my gosh, my people. Woo! We're all together. This is awesome. And then Monkey Butt and I went to leave. He's like, no. And we closed the door on him. So he might be a little down the dumps for a while. But he's got his little buddy back. He's got this little doodle mix floppy thing named Snickers that bouncy and weighs about a pound. And, you know, that's his buddy he grew up with. So he's back. He's back with that guy. Is it just me? Is your internet wonky? That's, you know, it is wonky. It is very wonky, and I just lost the chat again. There we go. Okay. Daphne, Miss Cherry Tuesday tomorrow. But it's your birthday tomorrow, Daphne. Happy birthday! Was I supposed to say that? It's Daphne's birthday tomorrow. Creative perspective. So then what does the X of filing mean? The 8K filing basically says we reserve the right to sell these shares if we so choose. It doesn't mean they're going to, and it doesn't mean they have to. It just means they can if they want to. So that's the 8K. And eventually they'll have to announce like, hey, we sold all these shares, and then we'll know that they screwed us. Or we don't get that notice until sometime in December, January, or something that'll be much better. Isaiah Kresnik. Hope I said that right. Houston. Keyboard cat. Had to get a dummy keyboard because of the same problem. Yes, little buddy. He's just so excited he's not having to like sit in a corner anymore. Oh, look at your little belly. Yes. Oh, your little belly. And your little nipples. Black cat nipples. They're just like, look at my nipples all the time. Yeah, that's okay, buddy. You can sleep right there. That's all right. You don't have to get up. You can sleep. It's a comfortable little pile of papers you're on. Jimmy D. Houston, thoughts on Bolsonaro planning tropical January 6th and Italian fascist party candidate winning? Oh, there's cats. Oh, you gonna do your coughing? The cat has asthma. There you go. There you go. Yeah. We gave you so many steroids. We can't give you any more. So stop having asthma attacks. What were we talking about? You done? You done? Don't die. Just get it out. Yeah, Bolsonaro. He's also another fascist, horrible monster. Man, so Bolsonaro basically is behind in the polls by a lot. By like at least 10 points in the polls for the general election. In Brazil, you have to have 50% plus one in order to win the election. So if in the general election nobody gets 50% plus one, it goes to a runoff election with the top two candidates until someone gets 50% plus one. And Bolsonaro and what's his name? What's that guy's name? He was the previous president. Brazil presidential polls. Yeah, what's his name? Lula. That's his name. Lula. He's gonna win. He's got like 60% of the vote. People want him. Oh, Kitty, you are a spaz. But Bolsonaro says there's no way I can lose. If I don't win outright in the general election, then there was shenanigans, just like there was in America when Trump lost. Trump should have won, even though Trump never pulled high in his entire life and spent all 4 years as president, never once crossing the 50% threshold in approval ratings. The first president ever to never have a positive approval rating. And Bolsonaro basically said, you know what? I got the military behind me. I've got a whole bunch of jerks with guns behind me, and so I'm not leaving. If I lose this election, I'm still going to be president, which is very dangerous for a country that's a pretty young democracy. They managed to get rid of the dictator in 1985, and not good. So, yeah, Bolsonaro is a piece of junk, and yeah, he's coalesced a lot of really nasty people in Brazil, and so he's got a lot of military leaders behind him. He's a former military leader himself, and that's not good. That's not good for public. It's not good for democracy. It's not good for the continent of South America. It's not good for anybody. Just don't be fascists. I don't know why some people just want fascists right now. I don't get it. What part of their lives said, you know what would be awesome? Terrible people in charge of everything, like, are overtly terrible, and they actively make our lives miserable because it's cool. And we go, yeah, you know what? That's awesome. I want a harder life. Woohoo! Let's vote for the biggest jerk I can possibly find because fuck you, that's why. And then they find themselves in a terrible situation with a fascist in charge, and they're like, man, this sucks. Who voted for this guy? You did. You voted for that guy. Frank, AMC had $1.3 billion in reserves at the end of June. Adam Aaron is no rush to dilute APE. AMC's AK filing is bullish. It means the squeeze is coming, and AMC will dilute APE when the price rises. I hope so. I hope that's what it means, but I have that doubt. That doubt is going doubt right in the back of my head at all times. And, you know, it's hard to not listen to that thing. Broadcasting from inside the original Game Boy. Squamps, I think I might be. I've got... So, currently, I apparently only have 700 kilobytes upload speed right now. Which, I don't even know how that's possible. I haven't had that low upload speed in a decade. But that's where we are. We are the absolute lowest bit rate you can possibly get. Comcast just sucks. Eight-bit Houston. Dallas B. Houston, did you watch the DART asteroid moonlit impact? I did. It's pretty cool. That's the way to do it. That's the way we did it when we first crashed things into the moon. Because we had the camera doing live feed, and then smack, no more feed. It's fantastic. It's a nice clear picture, seeing that composite gravel. I'll be curious to see if it really had any effect. I would have thought, like, when we crashed Deep Impact into that comet in 2004, 2005, that perhaps we should have looked if we veered it off course at all. That should have probably been part of the experiment, but I guess we're doing it now by slamming this probe into it. DVS, another squeeze play. Have a look at UPST. It's on a reg show, and at the all-time low, the shorts on it will probably cover with next month. Look to January, December calls $35. UPST. I don't know what UPST is. UPST. Upstart Holdings. Currently at $20. Where have they been? So, and they dropped quite a bit today. They were at a high of 25 earlier, a week ago. High of 28 within the last month. High of 120 this year. The last 6 months. Excuse me. High of 160 in the last year. No. High of 390 in the last year. Holy smokes. And the total high, 390. That's the highest they've been. It was October last year, and it's been downhill ever since. So, max. Where were you over time? That's max. 5 years. No, December 2020 is when it debuted. So, 2 years we have. Huh. What's the short interest? %34 short interest of the float, reported by Fintel. Okay. 3.65 days to cover. That's a longer days to cover. Okay. All right. Off exchange short volume, 1 billion shares. 56% shares off exchange. Huh. Okay. What are calls at right now? Oops. UPST calls. Options chain we got for me. Tell me. Okay. So, $15 call, 600. What's that, 35 you're saying? 35. Oh, this is for, I don't know, September. We were saying they're DVS. Look for January, December. So let's look at the yearlies. Go there. Do it. Okay. So $35 yearlies, 250. Oh, that's 30. $1.73. All right. And if you look at where they were, 390 was their peak. 2 cents. It's only one. There's only one out there screening it. No open interest. Wow, there's nobody. There's no open interest at all for any of the yearlies. What the heck? There's 327 at 220, 342 at 290. There's a whole bunch of like the 400s, but there is nothing in the money right now. Crazy. All right, I'm looking at that a little more though, DVS. Interesting. Dr. Spurgeon, the Sturgeon Surgeon. I just came from Bigham's stream. He said if APE reaches $11, AMC can be debt-free. I'm buying some this week. It's true. If they get to $11 a share, that's enough for them to close out all their debt with just the 480 million shares they authorized. There's still another 4 billion after that they could sell if they wanted to. So, yeah, it's possible. Time to get Papa my Starlink. I'm sorry, I may have to. Raider Bro, why is AMC in debt in the first place? Not to say Adam Aaron poor decisions. Some of it has to do with Adam Aaron poor decisions. Some of it has to do with the giant global pandemic that reduced their yearly sales from like 5 billion to 1 billion. And their costs really didn't go down. Plus, they also gave out huge bonuses to the executives while they're having the worst year of their entire life. That didn't help. Love the dial-up internet's back. What is it with? Why can't I get decent internet, man? Alfie needs as much love as anybody else, and I wish I had some decent internet to go with it. Squamps, as a guy who has high cholesterol, like healthy old people food. Steel cut oats and stuff for breakfast, please. I discovered as a kid that I liked maple and brown sugar oatmeal. But, and this might seem weird to you guys, just take a little bit of orange juice and put in the oatmeal. It was amazing. Absolutely incredible. Maple, brown sugar, and just a hint of orange juice. So good. I don't think my neighbors are mooching my internet because my neighbors are really far away. We're on 3 acres here, and they're all on 3 acres. I don't think anybody can get enough reception from my house to get internet here. It's probably just Comcast being terrible. I may have to go reset the router, but if I do it now, then the show's over. So we're just going to be stuck with Max Headroom Houston going on for a while. Jimmy D, Houston, should 500,000 people become millionaires from MOAS? Could we become our own country? Thinking like Port Royal, Jamaica, pirate style, but apes. A, that'd be kind of hilarious. B, it's gonna be so hard to get anybody to agree on anything. Just half you end up in Monaco anyway. But a pirate colony would be pretty hilarious. Neil, Houston, seems like the market is crashing day by day. Will this trigger MOAS? I hope it does. It can't hurt. I mean, these are the blue chips. The bonds and blue chip stocks are the assets that are holding of all these hedge funds. So, I mean, I'm sure a lot of them are investing big into SPY puts right now and trying to get inverse and like VIX calls and whatnot. But I don't think it's enough to make up for the losses they're going to be taking on their main plays. Especially when they have a whole bunch of this liability still from all these short plays they made. And a lot of these companies have been shorted. They're negative beta, man. When Dow goes down, they either hold steady or go up. So DVS, he's Italian, so he might just look that good at 85. Probably start getting old about 90. I don't know if Berlusconi is quite on the olive oil diet like Sicilians or something, but I mean, he's a heavy drinker, smoker, philanderer. I'm sure he's put on some miles on that body by this point. Okay. AMC Bull Houston, what in the world is going on with Revlon? I haven't looked up with Revlon. What's happened with Revlon recently? Revlon in the news. Okay. No, people are talking about Revlon One Step in the news. Lenders seek rehearing on funds. That's 2 days ago. Arkansas Democrat Gazette. Okay. Some of the Revlon corporate creditors who accidentally sent more than $900 million by Citigroup asked a federal appeals court on a rehearing after a rule that they had to give the money back. The lenders, which include Brigade Capital Management, HPS Investment Partners, Symphony Asset Management, asked the New York-based Second Circuit Court of Appeals on Thursday to have a larger group of judges review the decision by a 3-judge panel this month. That decision reversed a lower court ruling that said they could keep it. Okay, so it looks like we're back in court. This time with a judge panel. Legal dispute turns on the discharge for value defense established by 1991 New York court ruling that creditors can keep money sent to them in error if they didn't realize the payment was a mistake. The lender said the appellate panel's decision unsettled previously established New York law, such that parties in financial transactions can only wonder whether New York state courts will adopt this court's newly crafted exceptions to the discharge for value rule. So as long as they've got a leg to stand on here, that city might be screwed. So looks like we're back in court, man. We're back in court for here. This is from the Arkansas paper. I'll throw it into the chat here. Oh, I forgot to turn it on so you guys can see what's going on. Oh, well, Alfie's behind me anyway. And the internet's so terrible, you'll be able to read it to begin with. So there you go. So that's what we're waiting on Revlon. Assisted living gas. What happened to MMAT? I'll talk about MLP, but I want to talk about MMAT. So MMTLP submitted their what do I call it? Not retrofitted, rejiggered. What term am I looking for, monkey? Come here and help me. Come here and help me. Help me out. Help me out, monkey. Come here and help me out. Help me out. What's the word I'm looking for? Rebranded? No, that's not the word I'm looking for. I'm looking for rewritten, remodified, modified S1. That's the term we're looking for. Modified. Remodified. So we're waiting for word from the SEC on that, and that lends towards whether MMTLP turns private. If MMTLP turns private, then we are waiting for the sale of the oil fields. Sale of oil fields might happen while oil's at like $90 to $100 a barrel. If that's the case, then $30 to $100 per share would be the bonus. Recently got posted the amount of oil in the oil field from, when was it? Like 2004 was 3 billion barrels, and they discovered way more since then. So it's probably way over 4 billion proven reserves in that oil field, which if that's the case, then definitely like $60 to $100 a barrel. Or $100 a share, something per barrel, is what we're looking at. So, yeah, there's a lot there. I'm gonna rock until the wheels fall off, says Bill's Trades. Sure. Okay. Dr. Spurgeon, the sturgeon surgeon. I can eat 6 meals a day, so I'm the opposite. When I work out, I lose weight. It's crazy. I probably need someone to force feed me. Yeah. I mean, if I don't eat and I go work out, I will lose weight. But I pack on muscle. It just won't stay if I don't keep doing it. I'll lose it in a hurry. Like when I was playing college baseball, I was over 200, and then I stopped going to the gym. I went down to like 160, and because I was just naturally skinny to begin with. And the only time I've been like soft was last year before I got my COVID vaccine. It was just a dark winter, man. I just sat in bed all day. I just had no motivation to do anything. And it was just a sad, doughy, soft, non-moving lump. And might sound kind of weird, but like MOAS gave me something to do. Like I finally was like, oh, I can check the news. I can have a reason to get up in the morning. I've got people to talk to. It's kind of weird that it did that. And I met via the internet all of you weird people, and you're fantastic. So, we got that going for us at least. Oh, this thing's flashing in my face. It's really annoying. Okay. Aaron Salentine, Houston. So what is the AK filing on AVCT? I don't know. AVCT had AK filing also? AVCT HK. I did not see that. SEC filings, 926. There was a one. What we got here? Well, writing's really tiny. I don't know if you guys will be able to read this at all. Entry to material definitive agreement. Secured convertible notes. Series of warrants issued November 21st. Series A warrants. Series D warrants issued December 21. Series D warrants. Such agreement as of February 28th, 2022. The warrants and collectively Series A warrants. Blah, 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 blah. Tell me what's in here. It's a brief description of settlement agreement. Summary of settlement agreement. Agreement is entered among American Virtual Cloud Technologies, a Delaware corporation, undersigned holders of securities, entry holder, collectively the holder on each holder entity's own behalf, and its respective capacity as the required holder. As such, term is defined in the purchase agreement. Blah, 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 blah. November warrants, December warrants, preferred shares. Okay, what's going on? Settlement of what? On September 22nd, a holder entity delivered the conversion notice attached hereto as Exhibit A to the company. Outstanding conversion notice. The company desires that the holder convert in full the note in one or more conversions, including the outstanding conversion notice, such aggregate number of shares of common stock set forth on signing page. So it sounds like they took out some loans. Those loans were convertible bonds. Those convertible bonds, my guess, probably triggered at a certain price that the stock has not reached, but they're asking for them to be converted anyway. So they're saying, we don't care about your debt, we want your shares. That's what it looks like here. Deliver new conversion shares issuable pursuant to the outstanding conversion, blah, blah, blah. So it sounds like it's reached a settlement to give these guys a bunch of shares. This tells me that maybe that merger / buyout deal might be something that's actually not just a rumor. Because why would you want a bunch of shares worth 30 cents when you could have like cash money instead? Unless those 30-cent shares all of a sudden might be worth $8. They'll be freely tradable by the holder. Okay. I don't know how many shares it represents, though. I've not come across a number yet. That's how many shares it represents. But it sounds like a giant dilution in convertible bonds, or AVCT. Yep. That's what it looks like. Outstanding principal amount note prior to converting bonds, 1 million. Shares issuable upon exercise of existing warrants, 92 million, almost 93 million. New conversion shares, 7 million. Rights shares, 92 million. Huh. All right. That's something worth looking into a little deeper also. Pronto! Hi, Birth Houston. I trust Adam Aaron as much as I trust my toilet flush when going out of town. 50-50. It may leak. It cost me a fortune. It's a good metaphor. Where are we? We're at 10:55. Okay. Got half an hour or so left. Spam attack from what looks like somebody in Thailand. Is that Thai? Guitar Stuff. Houston, do you think the youth of Iran can finally get some reform, or will they just crack down again? It might be hard to crack down this time because it appears like the local police have teamed up with the protesters and are out slaughtering the religious police, which is, I mean, if you ask me, it's pretty rad. So, you know, these old clerics and Ayatollah guys, they are old as heck, and the youth don't want it. They want to be able to dye their hair and party and, live lives without the oppression of a theocratic state. So it seems pretty organized. They seem ready to murder, and have been. They've been wiping out some of these religious police. The Republican National Guard's being called up. Now, I guess we'll see just how loyal the Republican National Guard is when they have to start killing their friends and buddies and family members, because, you get conscripted in the military, join the military, not necessarily because you want to, but because that's where the job is. So I'll be curious to see exactly how much cracking down the Republican National Guard does. And if they have it in them to, kill a whole bunch of women who, let's face it, if you're a 22-year-old in the Republican National Guard and you don't have a wife, you have no prospects for getting one, killing a bunch of women is not the best way to get yourself a wife. So, these ladies got more fortitude than any man in Russia does at this point. So, when they're done revolutionizing Iran, maybe they can go help revolutionize Russia after this. Dizzy Market Houston, why do you think prominent AMC influencers are giving up on AMC and Adam Aaron one by one? Most of them make way more money than I do. They've got those pay-for Discords. They got huger audiences. They do tons of short videos that make a bunch of money. I just don't do that. I probably should. I probably should make like 10 little 2-minute videos every single day. And there's like, hey guys, looking at the news. Looks like new stuff is happening. I should just do those and then get 10 to 20,000 hits on every single one of those with a cool thumbnail. And then I don't have to work anymore. I don't know why, I just don't. Man, because I have other things. I like doing other things during the day. I can block out 2 hours, do my show, done, out, on to other things. Pure Chase is APE T+0. Yes, it is. And how do we know? Because that was the filing with the New York Stock Exchange. Was it was going to be a T+0 stock. It is the first T+0 stock security traded this way. Doesn't seem like it's working very well. Seems like there's FTDs just constantly because they're still selling stuff that doesn't exist over and over and over. Jimmy D, why have we all been bullish on these stocks so we can sell pics of our feet on OnlyFans for free? You guys want to look at the, if you guys want to pay to look at the toenail I smashed with a ski boot in 2014, it's been growing out gnarly ever since, you're welcome to it. You can pay good money for that. Season 54, Houston, why is the U.S. so tame with Saudi Arabia? Why not dump them for Venezuela? I think that's what we're trying to do. We've reached some tentative agreements with Venezuela to send in U.S. oil companies and to start upgrading their oil fields because everything's rotting and they're able to produce oil the way they should. Venezuela has more oil than Saudi Arabia. The problem is that Saudi Arabia is the largest producer at the moment, and they can basically push the price up and down with their production. Other nations don't quite have the luxury of doing that because Saudi Arabia is such a huge investment portfolio that they can survive for a long time on low oil prices or high oil prices. It doesn't matter. Where other nations don't quite have that luxury. Arya Shadow, opinion please, later on YouTube vid UA Joel 24C. It covers neon, 4 CPU capacitors, boat insurance, USA no longer generator of world ships. Keynote, Peter Zehan, 2022. It's 1 hour reading his book. Can't find refutable points. Okay. UA UA Jolf T4C. Okay, I'm gonna have to put this into somewhere. So that's youtube.com/ assume youtube.com/ that. Nope, file not found. I just search for UA Jolf. Blah, 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 blah. Keynote Peter Zehan. Okay, I found it. All right. 4 days ago, published. It's presented September 8th, 2022, 54th Annual ECC Perspective Conference, San Antonio, Texas. Energy at the End of the World. Okay. All right. I got it. 1 hour reading his book. Can't find any refuel points. Okay. I will watch it. An hour. I got set aside an hour. Or 43 minutes. No. 1 hour. Come on. Skip. It is 1 hour and 10 minutes. Okay. I will check this out. I will. Arius. I have no idea who this is or what it's about. But, you know, I got an hour. Right, Monkey? You got an hour? Yeah, you do. You always have an hour, don't you? Come on. Come say hi. Yeah. Everyone loves it when you come say hi. All right. Well, thank you, Arius. I'll check that out. What's the book called? I don't know what his book is, but I'll check out. I'll find out what the book is. Right, Monkey? You'll find out. You'll read it. You told me what's in it, right? Yeah? You're like, I'm out of here. That's enough. That's enough of that. David Horgan. Good morning, Houston. Love your show and have been watching from the beginning. What is your take on British government being complicit in shorting the pound? Well, the British government's had lots of problems. One big problem for the pound actually happened during the Tony Blair administration when basically the UK sold off all of their gold at around 160 pounds per ounce, which now it's worth, what, like 1,500 per ounce? So they sold it for about 1/10 of what it was going to be worth today. Another problem is that, you know, dating back to the 80s, is that there's a huge movement inside of the UK for austerity at all times. And the austerity movement basically says, like, well, tough shit. You guys are going to have to, like, eat your cat and suffer. Oh, well, I own 1,000 acres outside of Cornwall, and I'm okay. So there's a dichotomy there of, like, you peasants, you are there to suffer. We are lords, we're fine. So we don't suffer, you suffer. And there's sort of like a historical thing there. Why the government's basically shorting the pound? I honestly don't know. Is it to try and bring costs down for people? Which I don't think it works that way, because if all of a sudden the pound is worth 30% of what, or 30% lower than what it was a month ago, the price of everything goes up, but no one's real wages go up. I think they're really screwed up on how to handle the energy costs. That, like, Germany's nationalizing liquid natural gas suppliers. They're just like, you're ours now. We're nationalizing you. We're running you at cost to get people oil and food and everything else, fuel. The Brits proposed taxing the windfalls of these companies. So the companies just jack up the prices even more. And they don't seem to be incorporating, like, what's in the North Sea into, like, they're selling stuff in the North Sea open market rather than, like, bringing it home. I don't understand at all what the Tories are doing. They're every move they make just does not seem to be making any sense. It seems to be hurting everyone more, but they don't care because that doesn't really affect them. Although it is pretty funny that, like, Liz Truss becomes prime minister, kills the queen, destroys the economy, all in like 3 weeks. It's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive indeed. I'm flabbergasted that, I mean, why anyone ever vote for the Tories at this point, I don't understand. I mean, none of these are perfect, but my God, they don't care about you at all. They don't. They're like, figure out how to eat paper. And, if some of you survive, then you survive. The rest of you die, then you die. And that's no way to try and run an empire that's been shrinking. So, I don't know, David. I honestly don't know why they suck so bad at governing. They're terrible. They're absolutely terrible. Yeah. Okay. Jimmy D, apologies, meant to say PBS Crash Course series on YouTube. Okay. Citizen 54, why is the U.S. so tame? Oh, we read that one. How to get, then the reset. Then the reset, sorry, gotta go back up. Where were we? Oh, okay, found it again. Mike Russo, Houston, what are your thoughts on the shift of the Earth's electromagnetic poles? It'll happen eventually, and it seems to be happening right now. They're drifting quite fast compared to what they were before. Some scientists say it'll be really quick. It'll be like, bling. Others think it takes years for that drift to really hit. And in the meantime, our magnetic field weakens and we'll get lots more bad cosmic rays from the sun and space hitting us. I would love for something like the flip of the poles to happen in our lifetime. Simply because we read about this stuff. We read about supervolcanoes. We read about meteorite impacts. We read about the poles switching every 60, 70,000 years. And to actually be alive for something that is like a once in a 1,000 or 10,000 generation situation, cool. I want to see it. I want scientists to be able to measure and see exactly what happens when that happens and go, what? Because for our entire existence, for the 1.5 million years, the human beings have been walking upright and like poking stuff with sticks and lighting fires and eating food and whatever. We've never seen a pole shift and known it happened. Because for those 1.5 million years, we may have had a dozen pole shifts in that time, but we didn't have compasses back then. Compass has only been around, 1,000 years? What was the first compass? First compass. History of the compass, 2,000 years. So we've got 2,000 years, Han Dynasty, first compass was made in around 202 to 220 BC. Okay. Magnetized needles were first described by Europeans in 1157 AD, so Western Europe didn't get it until about 1,000 years later, 1,400 years later. So China had compasses for the last 2,000 years. Europe's had it for the last 1,000 years. So we are now going to finally have a situation where the poles shift and we can watch it happen. That's cool. I want that. I don't care if it gives me skin cancer. I will finally answer some questions as to what do migratory patterns look like? How do sea turtles find their way around? How do the little tiny shorebirds get from South America to the Canadian Arctic? I want to see it. So I'm hoping it's a quick flip so that we can bonk and it's done. And it's not something that takes 60 years and I'm old waiting for it to flip, going, come on, flip already before I die. But that's what I'm working on. That's what I want. I want a quick flip in my lifetime so I can go, I saw that, I witnessed it, check that one off the list. You will never see that, grandkids. So suck it. I was around when the poles flipped. You weren't. And I can hold that over their heads. Mr. Vez, Houston, everyone is wanting to grab real estate if this stuff pops off. I'm thinking about finding some acreage and try some regenerative agriculture like Greg, Judy, or Elaine Ingram. Any thoughts? I have no interest in farming whatsoever. None. My ancestors were farmers. I hate it. I hate working in the garden. I hate chopping up trees in the yard. I don't want to be a gardener / farmer in any way, shape, or form. But I have no problem with owning an expansive land that I can look out over and enjoy as if I am one of those English lords. And then, I don't know, like letting people keep their horses in the barn and ride around and show some cattle around. They can farm. I don't care. As long as they give me enough plums to eat in the summertime, I'm happy. But I don't want to do it. But for those who like to farm, perfect opportunity. Get yourself some acreage. Do your organic, regenerative farming. Mix your crops. Do all the awesome stuff that is healthy and make it, what are those things called? The co-op, the subscription service, the co-op subscription farm service where you get the baskets of vegetables, people. Do it, Mr. Vez. Someone has to. It's not going to be me. I don't want to do it. I have no problem looking at it. I just don't want to do it. Daphne sometimes think Houston is psychic. I get things wrong, but I also know how assholes work. So if there's anything that's like asshole-ish, I can call that pretty well. They're very predictable. Putin's very predictable. Brian Collins, the rain evaporating before it hits the ground is very common during the summer here in Phoenix. It's such a tease. Yeah. Isn't it like, oh, here it comes, and then like 1,000 feet above you just goes sucked right back up into the cloud. Urgh. Houston, September 10th, 2001. I was living in York, England. The pound had dropped to $1.32 to every British pound, and my spending power as a poor student was going up. Then 9/11 happened, and the dollar fell. Things are looking up for you there. Let's see here. September 10th for me, I was signed to go play baseball in Austria, but I was been laid off from my tech work. I couldn't get tech work anywhere, so I was working at a coffee bar at a grocery store then, and saving up my cash before I went to Europe. And the euro was 1-to-1 because that January, euro came out 1-to-1 to the US dollar, and I discovered how cheap food was in Europe. Like a box of cereal that was $5 here in the US was like €2. A large pizza that was $20 here in the US was €5. Like eating food in Austria was so cheap. Oh my goodness. And like, Austria may not have its own like cuisine, but it borders all these countries that do have their own cuisine, and so they end up with like really good pizza, really good goulash, really good, wieners, schnitzels. It was cheap. It was really cheap to eat in Austria back then. I haven't been back to Austria since then, so I have no idea. It's expensive next door in Switzerland, but Shelly, feel upwards with 2 fingers on the esophagus. Might have a lodged cat food if you feed dry. No, Kitty has straight up asthma, and he had some really bad attacks. We got him some of his steroids in him last night, and he's doing better today. He sound like it broke my circuit. Like when you hear a cat dry heave, you go no, and you like throw them in the bathroom or outside or wherever you can so that they herc up whatever they got. I did that for like a month straight and nothing ever came out. And so finally I called the vet and like, dude, I think this cat has like a hairball the size of a football inside of him. I take him in, and she just put her little stethoscope on him. She's like, he has asthma. And we'll know for sure. I'm gonna give this huge like antibiotic or steroid shot in his butt. And if the herking goes away for a month, he has asthma. And the herking went away for a month, and then it came back like 30 days on the dot, and he started all over again. And so she said, all right, so we got these chewable pills. They're like $200 a month. We got the shot in the butt. They're like $200 a month. Or we've got these like little prednisone pills where you're going to have to like fight him, and it's going to cost you a lot of blood and life. And they're $16 for 6 months. And I was like, that option. I discovered if I just grind it up into like a little cocaine base and then sprinkle it over his food, he kind of microdoses himself as time goes on. So that seems to be the best system to keep him from herking around too much. But he's just such a sweet little guy, and he kills so many mice and rats that try to live in the house. I have to try to, help him while I can. FX Rex. Houston, can you explain again why you can't or don't talk about metamaterial? My brother asked me not to. He's the chief production officer. So I was like, okay, I won't. Even though I never talked to him about metamaterial, I was like, all right, you asked me not to, I won't. I'll talk about MMTLP because it has like nothing to do with anything he does. So that's why. But I'm still invested in metamaterial. I still have my, 1,000 shares or so. And I do pick up more because it's so cheap right now that like whenever I do a deal and there's like $5 left, I just get, however many more with that. Houston, who was your favorite president? I mean, everyone that could be like a favorite president still has negatives associated with them. That like, you're like, okay, the little asterisks, let's talk about this. But like, Franklin Delano Roosevelt did a fantastic job managing an economy that had collapsed into the worst depression you could ever possibly imagine. But he also did shitty things like Executive Order 9066, which imprisoned Japanese Americans for being Japanese during the war, which I think was awful. Woodrow Wilson, our only PhD president, our only elite academic scholar president, was also a raging clanner racist, but he helped create the League of Nations. That if the United States had joined the League of Nations, World War II may never have happened. But because the United States became isolationist, despite him helping create this thing, we never joined, and then World War II. Harry Truman was largely ineffectual, but he managed to integrate the military, desegregate the military. Eisenhower managed to warn us about the military-industrial complex and created the interstate system. But he also was the reason why Vietnam happened and the reason why the Afghan wars happened, because he was a terrible diplomat. Absolutely terrible. Did not know how to make friends and do soft influence. There's, I don't know if there's anything that's it's my favorite. Man, I don't know. I just appreciate a president who goes, there's some problems, we're going to solve them, we're going to pass legislation, we're going to get things done. Carter passed more legislation than pretty much anyone since FDR, and he was rewarded with get the hell out for it. And he turned out to probably be the greatest human being America may have produced in the last century. I mean, the dude is kind. He lives up to his word. He spends his time building homes for homeless people. He's just a good dude. And we just shat on him and replaced him with a stupid cowboy who could barely read and his brain was rotting from Alzheimer's. And he pretty much destroyed this country and a lot of the global economy for the next 40 years as a result of his wanton neoconservative bullcrap. The whole make government small enough so you can drown it in a bathtub. That doesn't help anybody, you dick. That doesn't help anyone. The whole the most feared words or someone saying I'm from the government, I'm here to help, and everyone goes ha 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 ha. It's the whole the government doesn't work, so elect me to prove it type thing that I just can't stand. The government works best when we understand that we have a huge collective purchasing power, a larger collective purchasing power than any other entity in a nation, and that you can do good things with that. You can lower healthcare costs, you can lower costs of living, you can improve infrastructure, you can do all sorts of things with that money. But when you collect everyone's taxes and then spend it on privatization, it costs more money and doesn't produce the results we need. I mean, heck, It only takes a little bit of our budget to fund all of our national parks and to make those national parks awesome. But we just won't do it. Instead, we'll spend $950 billion on the military, which, you know, we need a military, that's of course, but why do we spend so much money closing bases, merging bases, making those bases huger, then selling off that land for pennies to developers, and then we lose the strategic influence of having those bases all around? Now we are strategically weaker by having fewer bases and everything concentrated in these locations. It's silly. We just, I don't know. I'm getting on a rant here. Just someone's asked what my favorite president is. I don't know what my favorite president is. Out of every former president, I think I would want to give Jimmy Carter a hug more than anybody. Be like, you're a good dude. People may have seen he was ineffectual, but you know what? You were on the right track. You got solar panels on top of the White House in the 1970s, 45 years ahead of anybody else. And then Reagan came in and took them down. You managed to get the funding needed for mental health care at the local level in every single solitary county of America. And then Reagan came in and closed that. And now we have a homeless crisis. So, I mean, there were things that Carter did that if we just let it go, man, America would be on such a better path. But we reversed it and then blamed him for it. And that just sucks. Where are we? 11:22. I got 8 minutes. 8 minutes, folks. So, Joseph Wallace, Houston doesn't respond in real time to non-paid comments to encourage donations. This is both smart and scummy at the same time. I don't know if you're being facetious or not. I try to answer all the questions as they come along. If someone pays, yeah, you just buy yourself me responding to your question like that. But I can't answer them all, man. I try, but sometimes the audience is too large. Sometimes you guys are talking too much, and I can't get them all. We Wild. Remind me of the website. You can find houses at great prices, like your friend who bought a $3 million house for a few $100,000. I want to find my sister a new big house in Pittsburgh. There's several of them. The big one is auction.com. So I look at, go away. You can look at Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. See what's happening there. And these will start to fill out a lot more in the coming time. So, here looks like a big old Pittsburgh house. Estimated resale value is $405,000. Foreclosure for sale in person. It's probably on Courthouse Steps, Kircher Street, Allegheny. That was like a big house right there. There's $320,000 in debt, so $320,000 might be the starting price on this one. Let's see which other ones we got. Remember when the economy collapsed in 2009? Some of these houses that are $400,000, $405,000 were like 90. So, like this place was probably a $40,000 house 10 years ago. This place here, $113,000. 259. Some have been listed yet. Opening bid. So this one's $214,000 house somewhere in Pittsburgh. I don't know any neighborhoods in Pittsburgh, but the opening bid is $35,000. Bank owned. So if you show up, on Friday morning or whenever the auction is, and you're the only person there, so you bid $35,000 and you got $35,000 on hand, you're getting that house. So the deals can be screaming. This is probably a really bad neighborhood because this house is only valued at $67,000. Opening bid is $15,000. Some of these places have like nice yards. This place is really fancy. So this is a fancy neighborhood. $612,000 is the estimated value. This was $243 starting bid at $55,000. 202 starting bid at $65,000. 189 starting bid at $25,000. This one looks a little bombed out though. 162 starting bid at $25,000. This one looks like it's been on foreclosure for a long time because there's snow in the picture, so it's been up there for a while. Yeah. So that one, and then the other good one is Bid for Assets. bid4assets.com. This one will do county tax sales, and we'll do like bank-owned stuff. And bank-owned stuff will start to pop off a lot more as more... like right now, there's no bank-owned properties for sale. So, ain't none. But got some $1 reserve auctions. So, here's a piece of property, residential lot in Memphis for $1. No idea where. Someplace in Indiana for 400. 5,000 square foot industrial tidelands lot in San Francisco for $201. Which probably means you can't do anything on it. 1 acre in Arizona, $76. New York property. Here's a place, house, $7,000 in New York, fully rented and remodeled. The renters are paying $925 a month. And you can buy the house for $7,000 at the moment. There's 6 days left in that auction. So, yeah, West Virginia, Charleston, West Virginia, for $1, whole house. Probably absolute meth pit, but you know, there they are. And then the county tax sales. So we got Grays Harbor County in Washington, Berks County, Pennsylvania coming up, Pierce County, Washington, Los Angeles County. These ones are good. Tax default properties. November, got El Dorado, Whatcom, Pomeroy County, Washington. December, another Grays Harbor, Snohomish, some fancy properties in there. Woodway is one of the most expensive properties, expensive place to live in America. And nothing further out for January, nothing for February. In the spring, usually is the big, like, Bay Area. You'll get Santa Cruz County, Napa, Alameda, San Francisco, Santa Clara. All those counties will start going in, like, April, March, somewhere in there. But those are the go sites that I go to. VL, what happened to OPEX with GME? De nada, man. Everything, they shorted the heck out of it, I think, with XRT, which is why XRT is on the thresholds list right now. So, I think that's what happening. So we're gonna wait for the XRT bump at T13 for them, which is like a week and a half away. Okay. GTII is very interesting. One person I heard talking about GTII is Lou. And, well, that's Lou. Oh, nope, wrong one. Not GII, GTII, you ding dong. Put a T in there. There we go. Global Technology Industries. We had a big spike recently. We had a low at, well, you guys can't see. We had a recent low at 65 cents last week, and we are up to $1.76. High in the last 6 months of $1.94. Pretty parabolic. We're pretty much near all-time highs. My all-time high is 306. So it's shooting straight up. It's done it a couple of times. The lowest has been 61 cents in recently. It was a floundering nothing stock at 5 cents and 1 cent for a long time. But yeah, it looks like it's popping right now. If you guys got in it a week ago, you're doing well. I don't know how long it will last or if it's going to go higher than that, but hey, good. I didn't get in it, so good for you. So what you can do your shows from Hawaiian coastline after Moas. I did a couple of times, worked out all right. I need to get a better battery for my laptop, or a better laptop in general. I can do a longer one on the beach. But the internet was fine in Hawaii. I was piggybacking on my phone as a hotspot, and I was 5G. I could do live streams all over the place. It worked great. Dame Horatio, why do you think Boss Blunt still believes AMC is going to make us rich? Is that on calls? Because I can't see how I'm going to make money back looking at state of stock. If Adam Aaron doesn't sell, I think APE is a definite squeeze play, which means AMC is a squeeze play. If Adam Aaron sells those 400 and whatever million shares before it squeezes, then yeah, that's done. Amar Salah, I hope you can watch AMC Bigum's new video regarding issuing of apes. He clears a lot of FUD regarding it. All right, I'll check it out. Dame Horatia, do you think overall buying gold is best bet? And UK government shorted pound for the rich mates. Had hedge funds Tory party days before insider trading supposedly. Yeah, man. Those dudes cannot be trusted. They can't. And for some reason, half of you Britons are going to vote for him again. And I don't know why. Every single time they just screw you over. Every single time. And they do it like, yeah, we screwed you over. Sorry. Vote for me. I just don't get it. Okay, I'm at 11:30. I'm at time. Monkey Bud's a vampire. Yeah, the monkey cam froze right at the beginning of the show. So I don't know why. Stupid everything. But yeah, the monkey cam froze. Sorry. Okay. That'd be it. We'll do our charity show tomorrow. Probably around the time market closes will be charity show, Charity Tuesday. So bring your love for your fellow man, and let's help some people. Even though, you know, the market kind of sucks right now. We're gonna try to help some people out who are still in worse shape than we are, and that's our goal for Charity Tuesdays. So, hope you guys have a great night. Get some sleep. Take care of each other. Make some good plays, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Right? Cat, dog, everybody. Toodaloo.